You want it?
Whoa, here we are. It's Monday. Is it Monday already? Or is it Tuesday? No, it's Monday. Good evening, Pioneer Villagers. Monday night family show. We will make sure that we are on before we start. There is Michael Peebler. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we know Facebook is working. We're not sure yet if YouTube is. We got a little bit late today. We had some meetings today. It took well into the evening. And that's okay. We're going to allow everyone to come on and settle in. Again, it's 8:46. We're about 15 minutes behind. That's okay, though. I wanted to just take a double look here at the results for today. I don't know about this. I don't know about this internet. Win Companion. Let's take a look. Win Companion. It's a tricky thing, but let's look it up. You guys are on. Josh Shibley, Hoffler Farms, is live on YouTube. All right, thank you guys. Hey, Ricky, congratulations. That was one hell of a good race, eh?
Don't congratulate me. Congratulate the birds.
Oh.
And I'm going to give an applaud to those birds today.
Yeah.
Or yesterday. And what came today.
Well,
that was a pigeon race. That's the way pigeons should be flown.
That was one hell of a race.
There isn't any candy ass, whatever you call it, in this. You know what? They were put up. They had 100 miles of good weather, 100 miles, and then they hit about 45 miles of rain. And then after that, there was another 50 miles of, well, no, I'm lying.
I'd say that last 100 miles could have been a mix.
The last 50 miles was, I'd say, 30 miles of good weather. And then the last 20 miles was hit and miss weather. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got a dog here that's snorting. She wanted to go to bed. So
take her out.
I'm going to take her up. But I'm just saying, it was such a mixed bag.
Yeah. Well, it was a pigeon day. It was a good day for that. Now, I'm going to give a big shout out to the guy on here now, Carlos Textera. We had the week prior, we all had a bit of fun. We were laughing, joking. We were, me too, everyone that was there. Kind of playfully said, hey, geez, we're waiting for Carlos to get his bird. And I thought Carlos's bird was going to come. And boy, it didn't come. It didn't come for Carlos. And it came way late on race number 1, the 4:57. It comes super late. And I could see it in Carlos's face. He was hurt. He was hurting. And we were sitting there yesterday before he left. And I said, the bird's going to come. I got a feeling it's going to come. And sure as hell, the third bird in the clock, Carlos Textera, it did a massive jump. But I looked here tonight. I cannot believe it. At 8:05 p.m., 8:04 p.m., Carlos gets the last bird on the day. So he clocked both of his birds. And again, yesterday, the last bird yesterday came at 7:40 in the evening. We clocked the bird today. The last bird on today was at 8:05.
It was dark,
pitch black.
Yeah.
And I tell you guys, you said it. These birds will finish. They're going to finish this series.
Oh God, yeah, they're going to finish. And birds that came today, they stayed out overnight. Okay, the birds that came yesterday, they were super. They flew through that 45 mile of rain, and then they got that other stuff. They came through that.
It was
Yeah, they did a great job, and the birds that came today, they did a great job as well, and they also learned about being out overnight.
again.
They learned about that. These birds now at this end, not end. We got 2 more races to go, but they've proven the best out of how many birds we took in?
611.
611 birds. These birds that are here are proven working machines.
And they're not quitting.
No joke.
Hey, we clocked 73 out of 101.
Mhm.
I think there'll be more that'll come tomorrow. I have a feeling. When you're getting them coming still at 8:05 at night, they're still coming. So very good test. Again, it was 231 miles. The birds they had quite a nice jump, and they handled it very well. Tough conditions. Again, started with some overcast. They flew down into some rain, some light rain, medium rain, hard rain. And you've seen here on the show yesterday, we had torrential rain where you could have a shower in it, no problem. And you could lather your wife's hair, no problem, and it would wash out.
Yeah.
And you want to know what? The people in the yard, the cameras died out, and that's fine. It happens. We didn't expect for that type of a long day. They were blown away on how the birds came. All the birds that were on the day, they were handled by the people. And it's funny, the first bird, the black from Moonbeam Loft, the bird was so smoked out, thin, it was dark. I handled it today. You will not believe it.
She bounced right back.
She's about this wide. She blew right out.
I had my one hen, the one that's on eggs.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the red cock didn't show up. But his mate, who's actually it's his full nest mate.
Right.
They're on eggs. She came today, and excuse me, she went in. She ate. I seen she was on the drinker, literally going like this, like I pooped right out. She had a little bit to eat. She went in the box purse. She's got eggs.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't go to the eggs. I figured, she's not going to go back to those eggs, eh? She won't go back. She sat for about 4 hours. The next thing I knew, she's back in the box on her eggs.
What do you think makes that happen?
I think it's pure exhaustion, pure work exhaustion. It's like, I need a break. I just got to relax. I need a break.
Yeah, almost like not even believing they're there.
Right. The other thing I want to mention is, I'm going to mention it now before I forget. We had, as you know, on the last show, excuse me, I just got to wipe my nose. But on the last show, we called out a couple schmucks that didn't want to activate their birds. And they still didn't activate their birds. And I call them schmucks. And Mike Vanderyak, if he's on the show, we asked him to give us the definition of a schmuck. And he never came back. So maybe he can figure it out now. Let's come back, Mike. You got a lot to say about other things. But good people came on. And they activated those birds for those schmucks that didn't activate. And guess what, folks? I think there was 4 birds. Those darn pigeons came through it.
Well,
So, hey, guys.
hold on.
If those schmucks are watching, hey, guys.
Hold on. Okay, can I talk?
Yeah, go
Enough
ahead.
going on about the schmucks.
It's true.
The ninth bird was Blue Ribbon didn't activate. Someone activated it. The 11th bird was Ampar Loft. He didn't activate. Somebody activated. I'm just looking here. I'm going through. Another 28th was activated by someone else. Who else? There's more here. We've got more. I'm looking here. 55th was activated by someone. So it was nice that the birds that the breeders lost their faith. The birds came. That's good job.
They lost their faith in their own family. Sad. They wouldn't throw somebody a paddle if they're out there in the boat with no paddle. That's what they did. So hate to say it.
Ralph says, what type of tablets do you recommend for coccidiosis treatment? So coccidiosis you can treat with like an Emtrol. I don't use a tablet for coccidiosis. For canker, we got the canker pills there. Grab those over there. That white thing.
This one.
Yeah, for canker, we'll use like a medrodonalzin tablet, and I'll show you this. Let's just see. Hold on, let me rotate the camera, folks. There you go. That's what we'll use for canker, coccidiosis. There's different powders you can get, but medrodonalzin, that's for the canker. Again, Emtrol for coccidiosis, I believe. Is it Emtrol for coccidy? Baycox for coccidiosis, excellent. If you can get Baycox, you'll find that probably at Jed's or Siegel's. Again, we don't sell it. We don't sell medications. In Canada, you're not allowed, so we don't sell it. I told you it's a dick, okay? Randall Yates, Randall. Yeah, the rain. Did your hair do good? Yeah, I hadn't washed my hair in a few weeks. Look, it looks better now.
It looks soft too.
It does. Rainwater makes it soft. Hold on. It's funny you said that. I was at a loft in Belgium, and the man purposely collected the rainwater to give his birds for the bath. I can't remember what loft it was. And he said rainwater is super.
But I don't know if I can believe that.
I don't know.
Rainwater, with all this around here, pollution, exhaust, and everything gets washed down. The rain brings that down. I don't know if I would say that was good. Maybe 100 years ago it was good. But now with all this pollution going on around here,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think, you know what I like to use? I have a dehumidifier in the basement. That thing produces about probably 2 gallons of, that's what you call, it's pure water. Nothing in it.
Right?
So, but I
don't know.
can probably believe that. It's just like going for a swim in the lake. It's good too.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's what I remember, and I can't remember what loft it was, but it was a loft that it was like this guy actually. I think it was Stefan Steenberg. He collects the rainwater. I just don't have the birds for your course, Mike Green. Mike, I don't. Mike, every race is different. You think last year we didn't have a race like this one?
Last year, Latchford wasn't good either. Remember that?
No, but we didn't have the rain. This year we hit rain.
Yeah.
You know, and next week's race coming here, it might be just easy tailwinds or strong headwinds. We don't know. Again, when you race them, you know, if we would have waited even today, did it pour rain here today?
Oh yeah, it did. On and off.
On and off. You know,
Yeah.
so it's
Mike Sheridan was over this morning. Here it was beautiful, sunny, excellent. And Mike said up north, like 100 miles north, it was raining.
Yeah. And again, this is the time of year. Again, it is fall. I remember a few weeks ago on the show that our buddy Rosedale Lofts, he said that this is going to be the warmest September in history. Have you found it warm yet? No. It's cold. It's been cool. It's been damp. It's not been very nice. So, hey, all evening. What does Stan say? Thanks, Stan, for coming. Hey, all evening to all Monday night persons. Congratulations, Stan. You got your birds back. That's good. Mark says, my little bit hen flew on just a bit old. Okay, I'm not sure. Again, guys, if you have questions, please let us know. I say the show works best when you guys participate. I'm not sure if I mentioned that before, but people ask, well, what are we doing now this week with these birds? It's going to be again.
I think they should. What's today? Monday,
Easy.
Tuesday, going to be off.
I don't think anything till Thursday.
Wednesday, yeah, maybe Thursday. They're going to get the rock.
Yeah. Maybe one toss.
Maybe Wednesday, let them out for a loft fly and a bath.
Yeah, I think tomorrow we'll let them just go out in the afternoon on their own.
Yeah.
See how they look.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Wednesday, they might go down the road. But reminder, the birds did 230 miles if they flew it in a straight line. If they came down and hit the wall of rain, and the birds that came, they went around that rain, those birds could have already put out 300 miles, 320 miles of racing to go around and come back.
Mike Sheridan came for a visit this morning, waiting for birds, and he said he's seen them come every direction.
Yeah.
You know, some overflew, you know. Yeah.
Ron says, groundwater, no better. Groundwater, no better. Rainwater is from expiration or evaporation, much less pollution. So what does that mean? So are you saying?
So evaporation, that's like I was saying, my dehumidifier is the same kind of water. But I'm wondering if there's pollution up there, exhaust, whatever, rainwater, will that not bring that down in? That's how we get the acid rain, acid on our eave troughs, and you could see it. I don't know.
Can we drink rainwater?
I think we should ask Mike Vanderyak.
He'll
He'll
know.
come up with that answer, but he's trying to find out what a schmuck is. So
Well, we've already got answers
let's
for
get that figured out.
Anyways, so that was good. Congratulations to those winners yesterday. The three birds is incredible. We had those two come together, and within 60 seconds, we had another one. And I know sitting there, and the guys were waiting. It's dark. It's getting darker and darker. And no more birds are going to come. And we ended up getting, I think, 7 on the day. And Ross Vaquero had one. Yeah, right. Let her go.
I think I'm gonna die soon. That's what you get when you call guys schmucks.
Okay. It's more like distilled water, rainwater.
Yeah, distilled.
So what does that mean?
Distill is when you boil it
Okay.
and you kill all the stuff in it.
Okay, but
then you cool it.
my question is, can you drink rainwater or do you have to boil it?
Well, I don't know what to say on that one.
Well,
I've never tried it. Well, what I did do though is I hung my underwear out in a rainstorm, and then I took it. It was soaked, and I wrung it out, and then I drank the water. It was beautiful.
Ricky, enough of your stuff. Will says, I was a little upset. I thought I lost my birds, but today they all made it back. And this is what this is the race. This is what makes the race the race.
A real pigeon race.
And you know, I can hear guys like Will or maybe even like Mike Green. I don't have the bird for your course, or I don't have this, I don't have that. It's very simple. The next race, it'll switch again. Different birds will show up again. Different birds will show up again. That's how it works. You know, it's very rare to see a bird go from start to finish perfect. And yesterday was, I think, in in the Pioneer's life, I think yesterday was the toughest race we had ever flown at Pioneer in the 4 seasons we've run Pioneer. It was one hell of a pigeon race day.
So what was the speed?
It was pretty.
Was it around 1,000?
No. It was
1,100.
oh no, it was slow. Let's see. We were into the yesterdays. We were in Moonbeam Loft flying 800. 800, 804.
Oh, we're getting pretty
See,
slow.
804, 804, 7. But I mean, hey, we still got 7 daybirds.
Oh, it's incredible.
Right. This wasn't one bird that got lucky to come through the rain. Those birds come. And they come and they come and they come.
And what were the predictions on the arrival times? So, you
you
didn't list that.
Well, you were pretty close. You said 6:30. You figured. And
Yeah,
we got
at first they said 5 hours at least, and I think Mike Vanderyak said about 5.5 hours, and then I coming down, and I changed my story. I said about 6:30.
Now it's funny. We were talking to Mike Sheridan. Okay, Mike lives in Huntsville, so the birds have to fly right through Huntsville, which is about 90 miles from the loft. And I said to Mike, if you were up at the release point, you'd let the birds out, you would never know there was any water on the course.
No.
You would have never known. We drove up and there was a bit of rain, and like normally the rain moves, everything moves. And actually, when you came back, the first 100 miles coming back was nicer. Was
nicer than when I went up.
When you went up,
Because when I went up, let's say 40 miles or so south of Latchford, there was fog only like at the treetops, like fog, or what do you call it? Fog, I guess.
fog or mist.
Mist. And couldn't let birds go in that area. Because, I mean, what pigeons are going to fly underneath the fog where it's on top of the trees? You know, it won't work. And I said, oh, we got a problem here. I thought,
Yeah.
this is not good. But then when I got up to Temagami, or just south of Temagami, for some reason, the fog lifted. And I got to Latchford.
It was beautiful.
No fog. But as you could see on the Liberation, there was a lot of, at that time then, overcast came in, but you could see the sun trying to come through. And we liberated. And then when I went south of Latchford, probably 10 miles, beautiful. Honest to God, beautiful sun. Until I got south, I got almost Sun Ridge exit, which is probably about 10 miles north of Burke's Falls. Started drizzle, and I'm going, start drizzle. When I hit Burke's Falls, steady rain. Not pouring, but I had to keep the wipers on. You know, I had to keep the wipers on until I got halfway down to Bracebridge.
Right.
And then it turned into a drizzle again. When I got to Bracebridge, it stopped.
So it's about 40 miles.
Yeah, and it was nice then
All the way.
down, but yeah.
And you know, Mark says if 7 make it, they all should make it. And you can say that, yes, but you have to remember, not all of them want to get that dirty and dig that deep.
They don't have that constitution.
That's right. There's something in them that says, hey, the rain's too thick, we're going to stop. We're not going to go around the rain. Some of them tried to go through the rain. Some of them went around the rain and couldn't get around the rain. Some picked left, some picked right, some went through the middle. But the great thing is, we didn't have one that did it. We had 7 that did it. And to top it off, we didn't quit at 7. We had 73 that clocked. And you know what? That shows the dig to come home is still in those birds. Shane Hoffman says, you get any birds yesterday? Yes, we got 7 on the day. And we got, what would that have been? About 65 today. And tomorrow, I'm sure more. I seen my call that gone for 2 weeks. Made it home. I know. I can't figure it out. And this is the other thing. I've seen birds that show up, they disappear, they come, they show up, then they're gone. And if we take a second to look at Stan, the BBB team, his team is called BBB. You can ask him. Can't figure it out. Bird's gone for 3-4 weeks, comes back. 2 of them come back on the same day. One does good. One, we go to a race, it comes. Next week, it's gone. You know, you don't know what's in them, in their brains, what they're thinking. Mike says, I'm not a fan of 200-mile race that takes 8 hours to get home. Well, Mike, you weren't in the race. You know, I wasn't a fan of a 200-mile race that takes 8 hours to get home.
So what you're saying is, if you don't mind me saying, what you want is a candy ass race with a wind and sunny.
Well, no.
You don't want to see. No. He's not a fan of it. That means he doesn't really like it. But what it shows is, these birds that made it. It shows the endurance, the power, the will to do it.
Hold on. And were you aiming to put them through a torrential storm? Was that the goal?
No.
Was the 100 miles clear?
Clear.
Right.
Beautiful.
Did 7 birds come? Yes. Did more come today? Yes. Did I want the race to be 4.5, 5 hours? Sure. With all the birds on a one drop together. And you know what they would all say?
I don't want that.
Oh, well, it's not even a test
I'm
yet.
saying I'm not them.
Right.
I say I don't want that. That's not a pigeon race.
All right. And hey, if next week it's simple, then it's simple. I can't guarantee anything. Just like yesterday, I can't guarantee they're going to come home. But again, sorry, Mike. So that wasn't your kind of race.
What would Mike like for a 200-mile race? What would you like?
It doesn't matter.
You don't like.
It does not matter. It does not matter.
You don't like no heat.
It does. Can I ask you something?
And
I'm not racing for Mike Vanderyak. I'm not racing for him. I don't care if Mike likes it or he doesn't.
What would he like?
I don't care.
Headwind doesn't make a difference.
I don't care. He doesn't have a bird in the race.
Oh, he's got that cock from last year.
Last year.
It came.
Did it come? Oh, it came.
Yeah, it did.
Came. Was it one of the 7 that come?
No.
No, it wasn't. All we can do is move on. Yes, and that's right. And I'm not knocking Mike. I know. I'm not a fan of a race that's like that. It's not the most fun race. We can't say the best birds and we can't say the worst birds. We say there's birds that got lucky. There's birds that kept digging. We can't take it away from the birds either that did it. But I will say, if I'm going to give a special shout out, the Mark Carnwell bird, the M&R bird, the 4th place pigeon. It was on the first drop or the second drop there at the last race. And on this one, boom, it was there again up in the front. That's a pigeon that showed it twice. Little flash there. Stan's bird showed it twice. I don't know. Am I a fan? Hey, would I want to do a whole season of races like that? No.
I like to see tough races. Right. I like to see headwinds. I like to see that. I like to see pigeons work. I don't like to let up 100 birds and get 30 on a drop. I don't like that. I don't like that. That's not a working pigeon. Okay? Yeah. Working in the body and working in the mind. I don't like that. I don't like candy ass races.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, and again, it's kudos to the birds that made it. Remember, what is very, I think is very good about our race is you're going to get that race. You could get that race that's super tough. Our race will give that to you. None of the other ones will. They don't do that. They didn't go back to the days of real racing. But we bring that out. And I think at the end of the season, the pigeons that are left, they've earned a spot for you to breed out of them for another season to try. They've really earned it.
Those
That's it.
okay. Those first birds came in what, 8 hours? Was it? 8 hour.
No, 10:30. Hold on. Oh, wait. They can wait. 10. So 11:30, 12:30, 1:32, 33, 34, 35. Yeah, let's say just under 8 hours.
Okay, so we really, I hate to say this, we really don't know those pigeons until they come in 9 hours.
Not yet.
That's what I'm saying. They still haven't pulled the wagon yet. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Right?
Okay, hold on. We got
That's what I look at. I look at pigeons that
Wait.
can do 9 hours. Let's go 9 hours. Those are pigeons that want to work. These guys are getting there. They're
Okay,
getting there.
hold on. So Michael Peebler says the birds dealt with the hand they were dealt with. That's right. Mark Percival says experience on tough races pay off later, which I agree. And I think some of our tough training tosses are tough ones. Maybe when birds stayed out for a night, they came late, they didn't come in the dark so good, they screwed up, and they spent the night out. That's why you've seen today, those birds keep coming. They keep coming. Shane says, you guys want some rough, tough pigeons, do you? No, we're not looking for rough, tough. But what we do is, it's like we go, the next race is on the next race. That's the date we go, and we go. We make a schedule up. It was not pouring rain. It was a doable race day, but it was going to be tough.
Yeah, they had 100 miles of good weather.
It was going to be tough. And you want to know
actually, when I got down there, I thought that there wouldn't be rain in that area. I thought the rain, there's a little bit of drizzle, a little rain when I went up, and I thought by that time that's going to clear up, but it didn't. Right.
Right. It shows me it shows me mine could handle a tough race. Yeah, yes. And Mike Green, we've been actually looking, and we looked at all of your birds. We've sort of talked on the show. I like the 104, and you like the 102. It's funny, Mike Green. What are the two birds he's got left here? 104 and 102, and it's not over yet. Still 2 to go.
You know, we were sitting here last night waiting for birds, and Fabio was here watching, and it was pretty well dark. And we're sitting here by the campfire, you know, shooting the breeze. And Mark Mark, he's sitting in the chair, and he looked at the board, and it was almost dark, honest to God. And he goes, "Hey, there's a pigeon sitting on the board." And we never even seen it land. It came. And Fabio said, that pigeon's worth buying. That's what he said, right? Because that pigeon didn't stop.
Okay. Mike Parrish says, and yes, I hope little Annie comes. Let's be positive. Let's keep her going here. Mike Parrish says, like runners, you have sprinters or long distance. Lots of sprinters can handle hard races. Yes, no. I don't. We can never see inside of them, so we don't know. But you could be right. Ron says, "How funny race that doesn't test the birds just want an average speed race." Well, we have an average speed race is a pigeon that's been the best through the average of the races. That's the most consistent pigeon.
That's a proven test.
Yeah,
really.
You know, reminder here, there's birds, like we can take a look at Carlos Textera bird that clocked third on race 1. I expected him to be in the first 15 minutes of the birds. And the bird came at 6 o'clock at night. He what did I call it? He crapped the bed, didn't he? He had a bad moment. But then yesterday on this race, the bird completely reverses himself and shows right back up, right at the time, in the first group of pigeons, pretty darn close. And you know what? There's still 2 races to go. More things will change. How did the birds feel after the race? I'm going to tell you something. If you asked the guys that were there, Frank, Mark, Fabio, Stan, Mike Sheridan, Mark Carnwell, we brought out the birds, and they were
So
spent.
you actually brought the birds out. A lot of one-off races don't do that.
I would actually say to you,
You got to keep 200 feet from the loft, or you get blown away with a pepper gun. You know what I'm saying?
we bring out the birds so people can look, people can see. I want the people to feel what a pigeon that's giving you 8 hours is going to feel like. You can feel the bodies are almost wet from sweat, the color of the skin, the darkness. I will say, I handled the first place bird yesterday, and I went like this. It has no more to give. It's done. And I handled it tonight at 5 o'clock, and I said, this son of a bitch is ready to roll again.
Well, again, my hand there on the eggs.
Yep.
I told you, she had a little drink, a little bit to eat. She just sat there for probably 4 hours. And I thought, she's not going back to that nest. She went back to the nest. I went and looked at her a couple hours ago. She looks like she never went. She just, like, you know what I'm saying? She recouped.
We should,
and that's a sign of a good pigeon.
I should have brought that black from out there to show you guys. Maybe I'll get Ricky here in a bit to get it. Okay. Shane Hoffman says, in all honesty, those birds should have beaten that rain. I think you're honest people. Okay.
There's no way.
Hold on.
45 miles of rain. There is I could see 20 miles of rain maybe, but 45 miles of rain is way too much. There's no way they're going to beat that.
The problem too with
unless they went around it.
The problem with the rain is
I gotta go bloody.
There's drizzle, there's rain, then there's pouring rain, and they might pass the drizzle and they might pass the rain. But if they get the third one in the mix of those, almost impossible. And that's okay. That's okay. The great thing was they picked back up and they come. And you could ask the guys that were here. The birds look wet in the tails. You can see the tails were wet. We try and keep it honest. I'm sure most OLRs would have called it and went home. Sure. Because if the birds, we know why they call it. I'm sending you Bird Spring to work them all. Thank you. Well, it's a nice bird. I don't know, but the 104 is nicer, right? I meant an average race, not your rate speed. Try it again. I missed the last one, Ron. Hey, regardless, it was interesting, and I'm very proud of those pigeons. And I know sitting here today, Mike Sheridan was sitting here and he was watching them come in, and they really worked their way around it. Michael Walsh says, I was hoping you were going to have a comeback live. The problem was the charger got wet because of the rain. So I couldn't charge it. It wouldn't allow me to touch the screen. We had a few problems. Again, I never experienced that kind of rain. I didn't have an umbrella over where I was sitting. My fault. Yeah, look at yesterday at 7:30 p.m. The birds came in like bats in the dark. And Stan, go and take a look. Go and take a look today. Carlos Textera at 8:05, 8:04 this evening. He comes in, and that made me real happy to see. Makes me happy to see birds keep coming. I meant an average race, not average speed. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Hey, Ricky. Oh, your chicken lights are all off.
Yeah, I know that. Good problem.
Oh, it's fine. Okay. So that's that. Again, it's going to be a fairly easy week for those birds. Boom looked fine. Again, the Boom was Boom the second bird? And I just, again, I can pull it up on here. I didn't really want to bother the birds tonight. I should have brought them in. I should have brought a couple in, which I can still do. But yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. The first 4 pigeons that we handled, because we didn't handle 5, 6, and 7. We handled the first 4. They didn't have much more to go. They worked right to the end. And if you were to ask me what I felt in them, I felt pigeons that worked for 8 hours. I didn't find pigeons that worked for 2 hours and stopped, let everything pass, and then pushed through to the end. Those birds ripped and tore because you could feel there was nothing left. And thank God we used the amount of fats that we did. It paid off, and it paid off big time today. You could just see them just coming right back on them. So Boom, Mike, fine. Nice soft feathers on the pigeon. And nice to see Gang 1. He's not on today, but Gang 1 wanted to activate that black pigeon, and he got the black pigeon first.
Did he?
Yeah, no, the black pigeon
He didn't activate it though.
No, he's from the UK, but he said, "Oh, if no one does activate it, I'll activate it."
Because he said he liked a black pigeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's such a small hen, not much to her, but boy, she had some heart to do that.
She was first through that hole, eh?
Yeah, Mike Sheridan said we watched it, and the blue landed right in front of the stall, and the black hen right behind, just right onto the pad.
Wow.
We call that a photo finish. Anyways, what a race. That one's behind us. Now we move on. What else did we want to talk about tonight? I don't know. I almost tonight was tired to come on. Frank Yanknet, no bath next week. Keep the bloom for the rain. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I wonder, like, that's a great question. How quickly does Mother Nature put bloom back on birds? Because Mother Nature has to make a bird be able to go out in the rain. I mean, like, restart again. So, like Frank says, no bath next week. Keep the bloom on the birds. That's a good question. How quickly does bloom come back on the pigeons?
I haven't got a clue.
I don't either. I would assume that Mother Nature. I know it's funny. Someone asked, how do we have the auction birds with such great feather? And I know the way we import them. I know our procedure for what we put down for loft dressing with a bit of our lime in that. I find the feathers, when the birds first start, how dry are the feathers? Birds
Dry right out.
Dry right out. And when the feathers get so dry, after 45 days of quarantine, when you take the birds out of the quarantine with no bath for 45 days, right? How are the feathers?
Soft.
Super soft.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that is the same thing with children and acne. With your kids that have acne, if you actually put more oil on their skin, the body stops producing oil. And I think those feathers, when they're covered in that lime, or they're covered in that loft dressing, they produce